Okay, thanks for joining everyone. Today we're going to be going through QR codes and how you might create them and use them in your own business. So you're probably pretty familiar with QR codes. If you haven't been in the past, you probably have since the pandemic last year, where you probably actually do see these QR codes on doors of venues all over the place asking you to use them to sign in. So you probably already know that you can scan them in with your mobile phone. In years gone past, you needed to download a QR code app to read the QR code, but these days most smartphones have them built into the camera on the phone. So it's just a matter of opening up the camera app, scanning the QR code, and getting the data out of it. So there's different ways you can use it. There's two different types actually I'll explain to you today. They're static QR codes and dynamic ones. So static, you set up the details in advance and you can't change it once you publish it. Dynamic allows you to make some small modifications later. So I'll go through those in due course. But this is a software, just an online software package here, qr.io, which is really nice and easy to use. You can use this for free just by going to that site, and you can create static codes directly from here. So there are different types of data you can embed into these QR codes. So I'll go through some of these. A link is the standard one you'll probably see, and you'll just type in a website URL, and whenever you scan it, that'll pop up in your mobile browser. An email, it'll prompt your phone to open up the default email app and send an email to the designated email address. Text will just put some text onto the phone. You can even set up a call option. So if you scan the QR code, it will pop up and ask the user to open up their phone app with the number pre-dialed. SMS is very similar to call. It'll pop up and ask the user to send a message with the content pre-filled as well. So you might use that in something like if you've got say a house and land package brochure, you could put the QR code for an SMS on that, scan over the top, and it'll have pre-formatted the type of, or the address of the house and land package in the SMS ready to send over for an inquiry. Another interesting one here is Vcard. So this is just a Vcard that can be automatically added to your phone contacts list. So we click on Vcard, you can fill out all the details here. So this might be for yourself. You might add it to your business card, for example. Fill in all your details. If someone has your business card, they can scan the QR code and automatically add your details into their phone as a contact. So probably the one you'll use most is the link. So you can use these in many places. You might use them on a site banner, a house and land package, any kind of brochure, your office window. And it's just a matter of setting up the URL here. So as an example, we'll just use our INH site. All right, so that's directly to your homepage. As a franchisee, you might have a / Cost Coast, and that will take the user directly to that URL. So I'll just remove that for now. And as we go down the page, there's some other options here. So you can change the look of your QR code by changing some of the colors. I'll just generate that as it is now and show you what it looks like. So that's the code to go to our INH website. And you can change things like the background color. And when you regenerate that, it'll change the look of that QR code. So depending on where you're putting it, you might like to fiddle with the colors just so it stands out in the location that you're putting it. So the dots color. And this is the marker border. And the markers is the last little black bits here. So we can even change that if we needed to. All right, as we scroll down, there's some other options here. So you can go really fancy with these different styles. So you could change the look of the little dots in here. You can even change the shape. And you can change the little markers in the corners if you like as well. So if you want to get creative, you can, depending on the material that you're putting this on. I would prefer just to stand with a fairly standard look so that they're very familiar to everyone that sees them around the place and they know exactly what to do with it. So I'll just refresh that page and we'll start again. All right, so one nice little touch is this logo here. So you can pick from a set of predefined logos or you can upload one of your own. Which I've just got a nice little integrity logo here. So if I generate that one, just gives it a little bit of branding. Right, the last one is actually quite neat here. We've got some frames, so you can add or pick a frame. Again, depending on the location that you're putting it, one of these might be relevant to you. So if you made this a Vcard, for example, you could probably change the text slightly so people know exactly what they're scanning for. All right, so then the frame is just the outside color, so you could change that if you like. So once that is done, that's a static code created. You just need to download the file. All right, so that's downloaded into here. I've got a paid plan here, so it's put it into this little dashboard style here. So you can download your PNG or an SVG file, which is a larger format for large format printing. So we've just gone through creating a static code. I'll go through a little bit about dynamic now. So we created a dynamic one. I've got one here that I created for another brochure. Oops. So this is the inclusions one. Here's a lifestyle. All right, so I can edit this. And this one was made to go to our lifestyle lookbook. So it'll be on that book, probably on the back page there. And what I've done here is put in the URL, but I've also added some query strings here. So these go on the back of your URL just to help Google Analytics track where the source of your visitor has come from. So you can do this in static ones as well. It's just a matter of separating all these out and knowing exactly what they are. So what you can do is just do a quick search in Google for URL builder. And Google has got a nice tool here that you can create that query string. So you'd start off with your website address. And then you'd put your source in there. So in this case, I'm just calling it a physical source. That's where the users come from. And we're calling the medium a QR code. And our campaign is this inclusions quick view brochure. So again, we're only really doing this if you'd like to keep track of this inside your Google Analytics. And I'm just filling out the compulsory fields. And you'll notice it's just created this URL for us with the query string at the end. All right, so if you're good with the text editor and you can read this okay, you can just create it directly without using this campaign builder. So if I copy that one, you would just paste that into here and save. All right, so that's updated the content. So I've actually just demonstrated the use of a dynamic QR code here. So the reason why this is dynamic is because you can edit it. It allows you to come in and change the content of it. So edit content. So we can change this URL at a later date. So if we have something that's, if we create a web page for inclusions at some stage in the future, we could come into here and we could change this URL and direct it to our website page. And once we save that, it's not actually changing the look of the QR code. It's just got some smarts in the background so that any QR code that you've already got out in the field, it's on a site banner or in a magazine, will still work. It'll come to this website first. It'll check what the current address is that you've typed in here, and that's where your user will get directed to. So that's your primary reason why you might use a dynamic URL here, or a dynamic QR code, is so that you can change something that's already out and printed, and it will go to the location that you specify. So static ones, you can't do that. If you change a static one, the QR code will change and you'd have to reprint all of your material. All right, so the last thing we can have a look at here as well. So because we've got a paid plan here of this QR.io, this is all the dynamic codes in here, and you can see how many people have scanned as well. So from directly in this admin panel, we can go through and we can see this particular QR code has been scanned 3 times. This one has been scanned twice. So these aren't out in the field yet. They will be printed soon in some of our physical material. When they start getting use, we'll see these numbers tick up. So we can view these stats in here, or we can go into Google Analytics using our query strings, and we know that we can get that detail in analytics as well. All right, that's about all there is to QR codes. So if anyone's got any questions, please let me know. For any of our franchisees, if you're having troubles creating them, please put a request through. We can easily create one straight to your homepage if you like. But it is pretty straightforward to create on your own if you need to. All right, I don't think we have any questions there. So thank you for attending, everyone, and we'll see you again in a fortnight.